and welcome to Critical Tumble, where a bunch of longtime friends and nerdy-ass Tumblr users transcend geography through the power of Skype to play Dungeons and Dragons, and critically fumble a lot. Group is still en route to Belerace, traveling through the barony of Gray's Inn. Unfortunately, they have had cause to discover that Gray's Inn, as a whole, by and large, is fundamentally racist. They've been getting some looks, and Sigwald
Bloody.
finding some attitudes in his parents, or at least his father, that he wasn't quite expecting. But he did get a pleasant surprise in brand new baby sister, who he's trying to tell to treat all people like people when she's 6 months old and is much more interested in pulling on his beard than actually listening. There's
Tiny,
also
adorable.
there's also the minor matter of a trial for Froseth as he attempts to attune to his final element, Earth. He's not sure how much of recent events have been to do with his trials, but they all have had a certain rock theme, whether it was the giant earth elemental who decided to attune to Froseth with its fists, and the cockatrices who turned Darvin into stone, but he's still waiting for that last shoe to drop. In any case, they stayed the night at the Sullivan Plantation after an evening spent playing with the "Oh my god, you are so fluffy!" dogs, and actually having a warm bath. And hello, Pim Pim.
Greetings, you absolute nonsense kitty.
He's just sniffing everything and getting in the way.
There is food, human?
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's basically there is food and it is not heading in my direction, biped. This is wrong.
He just wants to lick it. He doesn't want to eat it. He wants to lick it.
There is something very... What even are cats?
Chaos demons. Yes.
Liquid chaos demons for the most part.
Oh,
Anyway,
yes, it's Newtonian.
in any case, yes, they spent the night at the Sullivan Plantation. Hot cocoa, hot baths, fluffy dogs. The elder of the dogs, Remy, will find sacked out on her feet when she wakes up in the morning.
Oh,
Remy made a friend.
Remy made a friend. Remy has a foot warmer. And yeah, breakfast on the whole is usually a serve yourself affair in the sort of workman's quarters, because people are sort of in and out at obscene hours, so it's very much a serve yourself thing, which Sigwald probably will have explained to folks before he sent them to the various rooms that are available for the night. But there's scrambled eggs and ham and toast. Easy stuff to make in large quantities so that you can just serve yourself in sort of a steam table-ish affair. And people coming and going, mostly going, dressed for... It bundled up a little because you are fairly into autumn now, and this fluffy elder dog is just following along at Remy's heels through the entire thing. So you guys eventually meet up in a big sort of dining hall kind of thing. Remy being followed by walking carpet.
Morning. I am still kind of noodled out.
There is coffee, by the way. Big actual carafe kind of thing that you just serve yourself in what quantities you need, because basically breakfast is a big meal because most of the people working on the farm and plantation are going to be out for most of the day. So it's big breakfast, nibbles for lunch, big dinner.
That smells like a wake. I am stumbling towards the coffee. No one trying to stop me.
I'm already at the coffee, watching you stumble over, just like, here, and grab another one for me.
I'm trailing behind the dog that's trailing behind Remy and just trying to pet it.
I am kind of like leaning out my chair. I imagine kind of leaning my head around the doorway to just watch Hazel, see that she's not going to do anything especially flippant.
I have taken the coffee, stumbled over somewhere, sat down, and am slowly attempting to inhale it.
Clearly ignoring even first breakfast in favor of coffee, at least to start with.
Just
Yeah, Hazel's getting a couple of looks, but not as many as Froseth and Clarity are getting. But mostly people are too busy just stuffing breakfast into their faces and heading out for daily chores to really give you guys the stink eye.
Who all is in there?
It's kind of hard to keep a track. Mostly it's men and women, fewer and fewer every couple of minutes, between the ages of like 16 and 50. Broad spectrum, but entirely human.
And all like farm hands and stuff like that?
Farm hands, range riders, that kind of thing. They're dressed a little bit more rugged than the average farm hand because they're going to be out over the Sullivan grounds, which you've seen part of them, and even that was pretty big.
Okay.
So yeah, it's mostly just people who are packing up for a long day of being out there someplace.
I
We
like
got this
to.
far.
Mhm.
Now what?
finally making a go at the food. Is this half elf?
Yeah, it's a serve yourself thing, so it really is just boom, boom, and
I suppose at this point, Sigwald turns to Yusef and asks, "Are there any further stops beyond this for you?"
No.
Oh, it's
There will be a few stops for me, but there will be more on the way back, because I have some things to pick up in Grazin before then. It's still going to be a couple of days because it is a ways from here. There is a lot of space in this barony, which is good because the horses, they need all kinds of space, I am sure. But that means that we must be in each other's company for another couple of days.
hopefully I shall not wear your patience past any limits there may be.
You have not been so bad. Is Mr. Pun Master over here? And bow wearing cleric thing.
Currently on second portion of eggs.
I do not know where she put all the food.
Probably in the bow.
I do not even want to think about that too hard.
Also second portion of sausage.
Yes, unless you have any further goodbyes to make, we will be going essentially after breakfast because I would like to make some reasonable time.
By all means. Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I would like to say goodbye to my mother and my new baby sister, and to my father if he wishes to see me after what happened last night.
Yusuf is sort of
So
looking
if
at him
he-
because he missed that whole thing. And it's
Hmm.
just,
I lean over
Oh.
to Yusuf and I tell him he was not happy to learn that I was traveling in the company of a tiefling and dragonborn.
I feel that I should perhaps be honored to be trusted with family doings, but I do wonder why this is relevant to me. He is not angry with me for traveling with these people. I am angry with me for traveling with these people. And not because of the tiefling and the dragonborn. They have been good.
I'm just very, very interested in my coffee.
Remy's
Not saying a
happy
word.
Third
either.
portion of eggs.
Yeah,
Second coffee.
yeah. Remy is just occasionally getting dog head on her thigh, looking up, sort of going.
The
If there
dog will
happens to
get
be,
table scraps.
yeah, it's one of those. If there happens to be a sausage heading in this direction. Yeah,
Remy,
sausages and pettings.
I wander back after getting a bit more food and hand Remy an extra sausage to the dog.
Remy, don't let Broomhilda trick you. She's already had her breakfast.
Uh-huh.
The dog just looks at him. As it goes back to leaning against Remy, as much for petting as anything else.
I've never seen a canine pout before.
Now that I'm
That was adorable.
and grabbing one more entire plate of sausage, setting it down in front of Remy, and then finally starting to get my stuff together proper.
Yeah, assuming everybody has had their fill of breakfast, the person whose job it is to refill the steam table is giving Hazel this look like, she's tiny, where does she put it?
Meanwhile, I'm just
Completely failing to notice this.
of course
Yeah.
too busy consuming.
Sigwald, if he knows this, says she has boundless energy output. She needs to fuel it somehow.
Just tips a little, because of course this is the ranch owner's son, so just, I'm still not 100% sure about this, but okay. Ranch owner's son says it's fine, so it's fine. I'll just refill the eggs and the sausages again. Yes, I'm assuming Sigwald goes looking for family members.
Mm-hmm. He's definitely gonna go out of his way to look for Eliza and Sarah, and grudgingly seek out Papa.
Yeah.
It's more in kind of if he happens to encounter him, he will cordially say goodbye. But if not,
Well, as
It's-
it happens, Pa Samuel is in the office that Eliza usually occupies, having a bit of a chat. It doesn't sound like the friendliest chat in the world. Is Sigwald going to just walk into it, or is he going to try to listen a bit first?
no, he's gonna listen in a bit, and actually staying behind the corner of the door, out of sight. He's going to cast detect thoughts to read their surface thoughts as they're talking.
Okay. First of all, I'd like you to roll me stealth.
Okay. If we're gonna do that, may I check my portents for this?
You may check your portents for this.
All right. Let's see. Dice. Roll 2d20. Roll. And hang on. Where's the chat?
A 16 and a 1.
Right. All right,
Unfortunately, in this circumstance, they will be relying on passive perception. I will warn you now, because they're not
Hmm?
really expecting to
All
to have to listen in to people.
well, I am going to. Sigvald at least got the hint that if he moves just so, he won't be noticed. So he's going to use the 16 he got to make a stealth check in all of 18.
You better hope that you don't have any combat today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. What he is getting from listening is Samuel going over reports. First one he's getting is, I mean, look at this. You heard about that tavern just on the border of Star Coast, the Frowning Trout. First thing we hear is some half-elf wrecked the place. And then, of course, a couple weeks later, we've got whole new residents, and reason for that apparently being there's some kind of massacre. You don't think that's connected? And then, of course, there's Goldendale, where some tiefling wrecked their one main tavern. And given where they came from, and alright, yes, and you hear Eliza going, but that said it was a male bard. You can't think that Sweet Clarity had anything to do with that, can you? Well, it might have been the bard, but reports I got said it was over a tiefling woman.
Does Sigvald remember being around for this?
He wasn't around for any of that.
Ah.
Yeah.
Ah.
Followed by, and of course, as far as we can tell, group matching that description was effectively only bunch out of Star Coast before that their whole capital went foggy nonsense. That's because they were trying to stop it, you dipshit man. Sigvald's never heard his parents argue before, so this is kind of hysterical. Surface thoughts is Samuel being... He's trying to be protective, but this is looking pretty damning as far as he's concerned, based on his own prejudices. And Eliza's entire thoughts are effectively summed up in, will you just shut up, you dipshit man? They're sweethearts! At which point Samuel is going, and then you let them play with the dogs. You're going to have them put that. Don't you dare! They had the most wonderful time, and the dogs are fine, and Sarah's fine. I still don't believe you let that. She's fine! They're just people who look a little different. Ugh. Yeah, look, I got paperwork to do. If you got nothing more to say than to disparage these fine friends of Siggy's, you can just get out. At which point, Samuel stomps out of the office.
Oh.
Glances over at Sigvald as he passes him in the corridor, gives him a bit of a nod, and then walks past. He doesn't even bother with a goodbye.
Does he stop
Nope.
when he sees me?
Nope.
Oh, no, he just walks right by.
Gives a sort of a nod and a tip of the hat that he is wearing, and he's clearly heading out for his daily chores in the field. He is not interested in trying this again. If his own wife won't listen, he's certainly not going to get through to his son at this point. Is the surface thought he gets before that minute is up and it clicks off.
Well, if Dad's still in earshot when he's leaving, Sigvald will say, I have been looking into the Star Coast affair. That's why I was sent from Belarus in the first place. If I find more details to elaborate on what you found, I'll pass them on to you if you'd like to hear them.
He stops, turns around. That's something that ought to go to Gray's Inn proper. Safe travels and out.
Wow.
All right.
Sigwald's got some things to ask about later.
Okay. All right. Well, that's going in his player's to-do list for now. He's gonna say he's gonna lean into the door. He's gonna lean his
You
head
have
around
a
the door.
to-do list? Wow.
Yes, I am not a very organized person up here, so I need notes to act as a hind brain.
I should do the same actually.
Well,
It's a good idea.
That's part of why I record this shit in the first place, so that you don't necessarily have to worry about losing anything if
Okay.
you miss something in notes, because if you watch it again, you can pause,
Yep.
write down,
me,
pick up things. Also,
Believe
why
me,
I
I-
do the write-ups.
During the session, go back, rewatch, take more notes. But Sigwald does lean his head through the door and go, "Hello, Ma."
Well,
Speak of the devil and all that, as they say.
Don't. Do you not come in and have a hug for your mom?
Oh,
Stands
yes, I
up from
do.
the desk and hugs him. Pulls
I
the
go
hat to
straight
kiss
to
him on the
arm-
forehead.
Oh,
Don't pay any attention to that. Your father always did have a habit of getting up on the wrong side of the bed in the morning.
and it's all right. I could tell. It's just as you said. He's concerned about us.
He's also a prejudiced old bat. So Sarah's in the little crib that she keeps by the desk, and on hearing Sigwald, you finally hear the little and flailing her little arms.
Hello, Sarah. I must leave again. Hopefully next time I see you, you will be able to form lasting memories. And I give her a nose-to-nose boop.
Grabs hold.
Oh my
grabs,
god, that is adorable. I'm
grabs
sorry.
hold of his nose as he's trying to pull away.
I stay there until she lets go.
You're gonna be there a while.
Yeah, it takes a minute, and Eliza does actually she'll hang on all day if you let her. Anyway, I know that Yusuf has got places to go and things to do, and you got a job. So, speaking of which, digs around in office drawer. Now it ain't much, and I don't want to hear you protesting, but I know as how expensive Bella Race can be, and she basically takes his hand and puts a little money pouch in. Now don't spend it all in one place, but do buy your friends a drink.
Aww.
I am sure I will. Thank you so much, Mother.
Now off you go.
I hug her again one last time.
Yeah, there's a further hug and sort of from Sarah in the crib. Now go on. I don't want to keep you.
Take care of yourself until I see you again. And I go back and find the coterie.
Yeah, these guys are probably in the yard loading their various bits of bag into the rather denuded now cart. There's still enough for Yusuf to have as bedding and sort of relatively comfy seats, but there's now actually a wooden floor to put their feet on.
Mm.
And out comes Sigwald, probably looking slightly conflicted, but...
Just going.
Okay.
Sigwald, you all right? You
Let's just say that my father still doesn't quite see. Father and I still don't quite see eye to eye. Also, I have some questions for you while we're on the road.
Well, in which case, says Yusuf, we'd best be getting on road, so in you go. The dog is still sort of sitting by the wheel of the carriage, sort of looking like, is the human leaving me?
Remy.
Brunhilde's staring at Remy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Remy, I think you owe somebody a goodbye pet or scritch or
Yes,
something.
of course, Remy will pet
Yeah,
the dog.
there's a sort of doggy sigh. It holds out the paw again.
So you
Oh
do
my
definitely
goodness.
shake the
Oh
paw.
my goodness.
And then just sort of lies down in the dooryard and watches them as they clatter off down the road.
I'm waving at the dog as we go.
I gave it a last pat.
Oh,
Oh my god, this is
We're
heartbreaking.
all doing that, myself included.
This is heartbreaking. This is heartbreaking.
So yeah, you guys finally get underway, and you are looking at another maybe couple of days travel at your current rate of speed before you get to the capital that is Gray's Inn. And of course, Sigwald is sort of sitting on his questions, as it were.
well, I suppose now is as good a time as any to ask you some questions. First off, can I drop the Belarus, the Grazing accent? It's getting way more exhausting than I remember.
Sure.
Yeah,
Oh, thank you so much. I never realized how growing up, how an urban teenager would change how I prefer to talk. Okay, second question. My father has picked up on some rumors about you that I think he's wrong about, but I'd like to check in with you first. What happened at the Frown and Trout?
yeah, that's exactly what I was on hearing. Oh
So
boy.
Froseth, who's usually really
Look,
stoic, bursts
no.
out laughing.
I'm just
Sigmund gets up on his toes, like, oh, now I'm interested.
Why?
The store, she lost grip of her hammer and it destroyed some
I think it was 5 out of 6 placings.
something like that.
Yeah.
And then we had to leave because I was banned for life.
All right.
But that was
And,
Next time we saw the place, it got jumped by blasphemy.
All right. And out of character, was the rumor attributing this to Clarity specifically,
No,
or?
it was attributing it to a half-elf.
All right. Well.
Yeah. So yeah, that rumor, if they said it was a half elf, that was accurate. It was Hazel.
Apparently.
It was an accident. It was an accident.
All
Not
right.
intentional.
All right.
But it was just
Yeah,
crockery.
that wasn't on purpose.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a huge. I mean, okay. Yeah,
And then whatever happened later wasn't even us. We weren't there.
Of course.
We
Of
came
course.
in, we
And-
cleared out the mess.
Hmm.
And then
Yes.
remember we sent Francine up that way?
So I remember most definitely, and I'll be sure to get some
Verify
information out into the Grazing network to clear that up a bit, put it in context. Second
Thanks.
one, apparently, Clarity, you've been blamed for causing some trouble at the inn in Goldendale.
Oh,
What trouble.
God. Are they seriously dumping the Heseltine thing onto her?
Oh God.
Find him and kick his ass.
No, a bunch of. Okay, there were bards involved. I wasn't there at the time. Let me just specify that. Clarity had nothing to do with it personally.
I humiliated him a little bit, but
Well, he earned that.
well,
Well.
anything that happened afterwards, that was after we had left.
Yeah, we weren't even
It
there.
was a bard-related bar fight. There was a bunch of bards in town. 'Cause it was a town fair.
I wasn't there. This bard was
All right.
not at fault.
All right.
It wasn't this bard. It was bards, but not this one.
All right.
Yeah, that Heseltine needs to get his head kicked in.
Or at least removed from his posterior.
Well, it's not our school, but I mean, I don't know how harmful he is, really. Besides
Pain in
to
the ass.
feelings, he is a pain in the ass.
Heseltine. All right.
This is great.
Well,
Purple.
all this has reminded me why I was so glad to get out of Grazing when I did, in retrospect. See, they people in Gray's Inn, the business, the Gray's Inn business loves to pass around rumors and makes it a business of passing about the juiciest rumor for the most money. They often don't bother to check whether they're true or not. Causes a lot.
In all fairness, this is not like the internet. How are you supposed to check? It's not like you've got surveillance cameras or any kind of documentary records. The only question they have to ask themselves is, why would anyone lie? And Darwin knows that most of the information that passes is people talking and bards. And what do bards do with the
We
information?
embellish!
Right.
So it's not exactly their fault.
It's all about the story.
Mm,
Does it entertain?
well,
Bards
Well.
will be bards.
Sorry, Dad.
as you're well aware, there's a great deal of prejudice against tieflings and dragonborn and anything not purely human around here. So any mutation that puts the blame on a non-human and propagates the story of tieflings bad, half-orcs bad, etc., blah, blah, fucking blah, that will gain a lot more
God, I
traction
love
than
you
it should.
Well, we cleared a few things up, at least in regards to, the specific individuals, namely us.
And
Yeah,
then-
and
the-
one way or another, we'll eventually find a way to remove the stick.
And Sigwald also knows that the actual capital of Gray's Inn has to be more tolerant because
It's the capital.
well, it's the capital and it's run by halflings.
Right. Hopefully,
The Baron
I've
and
been
Baroness are
I've
halflings.
been oblivious to how bad things have been out in the country. Hopefully, things are as at least half as rosy and decent as I remember them being in Gray's Inn Capital.
You don't think
Myself.
that there'll be a problem like we faced at, say, the inn, that awful inn a while back, and
I should
or at your
certainly hope
Harpy
not,
something or other?
but
blind harpy?
at this point, I'm not gonna lie. I am having a great deal of shattered confidence in my ability to comprehend reality as it apparently is.
Well, okay.
How long's it been since you left?
Is this an offer where I can do some character building, or
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it? Yes, it has been 10 years. I've written frequently back to my mother and father, but this is the first time I've been back here.
That's a long time.
Yeah, that's a while. That's a while.
That's a really long time.
Yeah, that would mean that Sigwald wouldn't have been sent directly to the university because he would have been too young. He was probably sent to a Belarus boarding school first.
Okay.
Because 11 is a little bit young for a university student.
Okay. But probably showed up at the university some point. So
Well, he probably
where
hit the library first.
yeah.
So he was
And-
very used to the grounds. And the way
Yeah.
I figure the Belarus educational system works is, they've got some public schools, they've got some boarding schools, because obviously people from other places come to study there, and some will come early, like Sigwald. So a lot of those are sort of gateway schools into the university proper. So his parents would have sent him there at it, as far as I can tell from the maths your character building has led. At about 11, spent about 5 years in the boarding school to determine A, whether he was going to be magically inclined, and B, what type of magic, because there were going to be a lot of divvying up. Are you more likely to find a patron and wind up being a warlock? Is your family magical? Is this a bloodline thing? Would you wind up being a sorcerer?
Am I a lyricist and poet? Will I end up being a bard?
To be fair, the schools have never turned out a bard.
Oh.
They don't. That's not a branch of magic that's studied. Bards come into the library a lot, but there's no school. The university handles more in-depth. They tend to be a little snooty about bards.
I just realized I did some character building that makes absolute no sense, given how my parents reacted to me when I came back here.
Well,
if it's really been 10 years.
It'll work out. I mean, it's
okay.
The way I figure it is there was plenty of writing back and forth, care packages. In his early years, he probably came back for a couple of months in the summer, so he was trying to help out around the place. Basically, they opened up the world to him and gave him every opportunity to find out who and what he was. And home, from the sounds of it, because he wasn't into the ranching and he wasn't into the information trade, if he'd stayed entirely at home, he would have found out a lot earlier that home was not for him.
Okay.
So now he's finding out just how much that's the case and is feeling a little disillusioned about it. But it does justify the justify the decision that, to be fair, it was predominantly Eliza who was like, how'd you like to go to school and learn something different? Where she heard about it, you have no idea.
Of course. All right.
In any case.
Back to roleplay. Back to roleplay. Sorry.
Yeah. This is relatively important stuff too. And in any case, unless Sigwald has anything else he wants to ask, or anyone has anything else they want to add.
Hey, Sigwald, it's kind of funny, but I don't know. The feeling of what you thought, the way you thought your whole upbringing was, and then finding out it was something completely different. Yeah, we have that in common. Different outcomes, different reasons, but just that, having it all flipped. Yeah, we have that in common. But yeah.
Well, I'm glad to hear I'm not alone in the feeling of being uprooted, so to speak.
I'm going to carefully make my way over to Sigwald and hug him.
That's one way to put it, I think. Oh, boy.
He's getting full-on bear hug.
Sigwald, is doing kind of a reciprocal shoulder pat, and it's also going. Is Flydia perched on my hat again?
No, he's been on Frosa's head for the last little while because he's getting a little bit sick of getting knocked into the dirt by Hazel or smashed into the wall by Hazel.
All right. Okay. So, all right, that changes things. So it's just yeah.
Pat.
On a scale of 1 to squished, how squeezy do we want this to be?
That's entirely up to you.
I'm probably 5, or squished to the point where it's I'm definitely squished. It's making things a little difficult.
But
it's not unbearable, but yes. It's like a 5 on the. It's like a squish of 5 on the pain scale.
I just imagine Clarity and Froseth watching this I'm not going to talk about Uprooted. I'm just really not, because this is not a whose upbringing is more fucked competition. And both of them just.
Yeah, I'm
letting go of him. Then I'm hugging Darvin. And then I'm carefully hugging Froseth. Very carefully. And then back over to Clarity.
See, I was totally not expecting it, and I was too busy just like uprooted. That's really, really. And I was just go square. Oh, okay, this is the thing that's happening. Okay.
Okay, assuming Hugfest and Remy just going, am I the only well-adjusted person in this entire group? Oh yeah, followed
Yes,
by
yes.
followed by, oh yeah, I guess I technically have PTSD, but that doesn't count.
Yeah, that's pretty low key.
In any case, a couple of moderately, effectively uneventful days follow. It just, you guys being your usual relatively silly selves, Hazel probably still stomping on Yusuf's last nerve.
Oh no.
Trying to be careful, but failing fabulously.
At some point during the trip, have I gone through and counted up the money pouch I got from Ma?
That's up to you, but if you take the time to do that, she has given you 10 gold.
Okay. I will. Let's say I did that.
Okay.
Okay.
And assuming you're not being stealthy about that, you may have people sort of.
Oh, that's
Yes. This is a little parting gift I received from Ma.
fair.
Would
Cool.
Would you like me to divvy? Shall we?
No,
shall we?
no, that's for Mom.
Yours.
Yeah,
Yours.
All right.
You'll-
All for me. Put that in my personal funds.
Yeah, no, that's.
I'll remember to use this to get you some nice things if the opportunity comes.
Oh,
Well,
okay. Well,
your mother did give the order to buy them a drink. In any case, around about an hour or so after breakfast on the third day of travel, you come across Froseth, who's mainly been keeping the lookouts during the day's travel, is the first to spot rather a lot more buildings than you've been seeing on the trip so far. I mean, mostly they're outbuildings surrounding this rather large building you can see from quite a distance, partially because it's been built into a nearly sheer cliff face. This is the capital. This is Gray's Inn. And Sigwald will know that the really big building, that is the inn.
Taylor's Grace, that place is huge.
It's actually more tall than wide, and you can't tell how deep it is because it's been built into the cliff face.
That's certainly
Sigwald,
a
why is it so
architectural
big?
choice.
That is the. Oh, sorry. Hang on. Out of character. Trying to remember the word.
That's the barony seat.
Okay, that is the barony seat, the titular inn of Gray's Inn.
How is that just an inn? It's huge.
It's a barony. It's a manor. Darvin will recognize it as a manor. It's just a bigger manor than he's used to.
That's
you
a
say it's
manor with
an-
a capital M.
When you say
Let's
it's an inn, do people stay there?
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do.
Oh, okay.
Okay, capital.
Okay.
Basically,
So that-
everybody
that-
who passes through the capital stays there.
So it's an inn, and it's the manor.
Yes.
In a. Never mind.
That is a lot of inn, and that is a lot of manor.
Are there people around?
Well,
And
you're-
are they looking at us?
As you start riding into more buildings. These are mostly sort of outbuilding shed kind of deals. You find a couple of kitchen gardens, so some of these might be family homes, but they're widely spaced out, so it's not really a town. It's a couple of habitations around a sort of a larger area surrounded by a sort of log wall. So you have this.
Holy crap.
There's a map. There's a map. Yay. Oh boy.
So yeah, as you come
nice.
into the sort of palisade of logs that serves as the wall to the manor slash inn. Surprisingly, or perhaps not, because it's an inn as much as a manor, not a lot of guard. There are barns, those two big buildings on either side, where Yusuf sort of stops the wagon and says, "All right, this is your final destination. I need to speak to a gentleman in barn here, so I leave you to make your further arrangements from here. I would recommend you go to bar and you explain that you are adventurers and you ask for Seneschal because they may have work that might help to ease your passage. I do not know particulars, but I have heard occasions where faster than sheep has happened. I know not much about this because I am not in the adventuresome business, and if it drives people as crazy as it has clearly driven you, but
Probably for the best.
But before I send you on your way, I do believe that I owe you some monies. We have been en route for 8 days? No, 9. 9 days. 8 days for you. Points at Hazel. I have not forgotten about
I was
day.
about to remind you.
About day. So is 9 gold apiece to start with for 5 of you, 8 gold for you, and he's counting them out on the wagon seat. Do you have a sort of total party fund, or?
Pointing at clarity.
Yeah.
I have it.
Everybody points at clarity.
All right. for earth elemental thing, giant rock. I have term for this, right? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Earth elemental, yes.
Yes. That one I give for you 20 gold. For cockatrices, 30. That will go into your party fund to deal with as you see fit. But individually, and then looks at you again. And for those of you who did not have a day's pay docked, you get an extra gold to sort of round it off. So the 5 of you have 10 gold for your personal funds. Hazel gets 8 gold for her personal funds, and there is a total of 50 gold in extra in your party funds. I wish for you good fortune, and I hope to meet again in a time when I do not have to spend 9 days on the road with you.
And if such an event does occur, hopefully we'll have learned some better manners.
Or perhaps a spell of silence for that one. And sort of pointing in and around Hazel and Darwin. And then goes and leads his feed wagon into the barn.
Safe travels, Yusuf.
Thank you.
I like him.
I'm just waving. Bye.
I like him. He's nice in a manner of speaking.
Hopefully he'll stay that way if we see him again.
I like him. He's decent. I mean, he tolerates me.
All right.
Pointedly saying nothing in response to that statement.
Well, for
Into
starters,
the inn.
for starters, the real reason my mother gave me this money Would you like some drinks?
Yes.
Suddenly, this
Ooh,
conversation is very relevant to my interests.
it is a little
Right.
early in the day, but then again, it is nearly lunchtime. You can
We're an
have.
adventuring party. We day drink.
That's very
We-
true. That's
we have-
very true.
We're like, we get lunch. I use the paper lunch.
And probably drinks, because again, yeah, adventuring party, day drinking. Okay.
Nights. Here?
Moving on up the map, which there's actually more of it than this. So.
Oh.
Were there any passersby, and were they giving us funny looks?
There's a certain amount of there's a certain amount of activity going on, but a lot of it is a little bit busy, and yeah, they're not paying much attention.
Okay.
So no, you're not getting any particular dirty looks.
Okay.
Out of character, this map is really pretty. Very
Okay.
nicely done. I had to stop and comment.
I
Sorry.
had 3 maps to design today, so let's get on with it so we can see more than one of them.
Fair.
So yeah, the inside it has the opulence that Darwin has come to expect of a manor, but it is clearly an inn. It's an inn tap room. The furniture is nice. It's already humming a little bit. And for the first time in over a week, you see people who aren't human. There's a couple of half-elves sitting at the far corner of the bar, and a party of halflings, about 6 of them, scrunched in a table in the corner.
Beeline.
They look up.
You lined up. Oh, they're the halflings?
Hazel.
Hey,
Hazel.
Dang it.
The accent's it's close, actually kind of close to Yusuf's. It's relatively foreign. Can we help you?
I just wanted to say hi. I'm from Goldendale, Hearthhome.
There's a certain amount of murmur. Just as a for information, out of the 6 of them, 4 of them are redheads, 2 of them are blondes, and one of them sort of one of the blondes looks up and goes, "Is that not the one that married Quick Flight?"
Yeah.
Ah, yes, we have heard of Twila Quick Flight. It is good to meet you.
So,
Get back here.
oh, guys, you come here.
They're
Big
looking
one
a
comes
little.
over
They're
there.
they're looking a little bemused, but
Oh, Lord.
they're friendly enough at least.
So I'm Hazel. The guy flailing over there is Darwin.
I am not flailing.
One of the redheads is probably kind of young. It can be hard to tell ages with halfling. Sort of sits up a little further in his seat and waves, "Hello, Bard."
I go from doing this to going, okay, hi.
And
Really confused.
Gets a nudge from a redhead gentleman who's probably dad or elder brother, and just sits down. Sorry.
Darwin, come on.
Sigwald is already over there and is asking Hazel, "Who are these new friends you've made?"
I'll wander over.
Well, I was introducing myself, so Clarity, Frozen.
And I guess Remy.
I guess.
I knew the whole party over here.
I suppose this is what we're doing now.
I guess so.
Yeah.
Sort of bemused, blonde woman is sort of just
I'm
going.
I'm just looking at the table, just like, oh.
We're not that interesting. We are a trade delegation from a Gref.
From where?
Uh oh. And there's a certain amount of muttering, and the words country mice might have been brought up. Okay, the older redhead who nudged the more enthusiastic younger one pulls a map out of a pile of papers and unfolds it. You guys do have a map, you just haven't looked at it in a very long time. Torin took great pains to copy that for you, and you haven't looked at it once.
I certainly haven't. I've been too busy being a goofus.
Anyway, this one sort of the entire left-hand side is largely cliff, and you can just about see a dot where Gray's Inn clearly is. It's a fairly sized dot. All the rest of it seems to be the country of Equitas. See, here,
Mhm.
points to what appears to be a sort of a. It's almost a mirror image on the other side of the cliffs. City, larger dot.
Hmm.
You know, the Gray's Inn is a dot about I don't know. I'm not really good with sizes, but it's a neh sort of dot. The one they're pointing at is an sort of dot.
Oh wow.
That is Egreth.
Wow.
That is our capital. And you can see further on, and Sigwald recognizes this. And this one is actually more of a circle, because it can't be just a dot. That's just labeled Belarus.
Oh, that's where we're headed.
Oh.
Indeed.
And they take in the weapons, the armor, the Remy.
The Remy.
Oh, Remy.
Oh, Remy.
and the blonde woman is just going, did anyone tell you to go speak to the Seneschal?
Oh,
Yeah.
we were going to, yes, but this one saw you, and here we are. So We were-
Why did you come to seek us out?
I
No,
Hazel-
she's looking at
Hazel.
Hazel when she says this.
yeah.
I don't know, Hazel. Why did you come seek
I
them
don't
out?
know. Why did
Traveling through here, haven't seen a single halfling until I got here, so...
Well, of course you will see halflings here. The Baron and the Baroness are halflings. My second cousin, 3 times removed, is actually the Baroness. They married 20 years ago. And the little redhead who had been waving at Darwin is going, I'm gonna be that. Just from the older one.
Mm-mm.
He's learning.
Yeah.
This one's learning too. Point to Hazel.
They look. Teenager. Put some food in the teenager. That always seems to help. Nothing with sugar.
Yeah.
Nothing with
A
sugar.
serving's worth.
Yes, nothing with sugar though. We give this one sugar and it becomes an issue.
I bet.
In any
Okay,
case,
now I see why Hazel wanted to come over here. You apparently have something in common.
we are halflings. I am.
Yeah.
We understand that there is a fair bit of racism in this barony thing that our poor cousin now lives in. She has such work to
Outside of the
do. She
capital,
has
right?
such work to do. But there are certain traits that are just there.
Hmm.
And one of them is we are good with being family.
Hmm.
And if this one knows from quick flight, which clearly does, then this one understands. But and then looks at Darwin. Perhaps explain that not all halflings are her family.
Yeah,
we,
that's.
we do have trade business to discuss.
Come on, Hazel. Let's go.
If,
Let's go
if
see about. Let's go see about getting some food for ourselves, and then see about speaking with the seneschal.
The
It was a
the
pleasure to
old-
meet you.
the
Thank you
old-
for your time.
the older red-haired halfling
Mm.
looks up and says, before you go in order, can we have a quick word?
By all means.
Whichever one of you is leading this little pack. They just points at Darvin. You're the talker. Come with me.
All right.
And leads
If-
leads over to a quiet bit by the stairs, and it goes, I know you've been told to go and speak to the seneschal, but maybe you want to cut right to the chase. Let me introduce myself. Baron Laurent Grey.
Oh. A pleasure.
Well,
No,
I'll
you're
be-
you're way over there.
I don't know. Sorry.
Froseth can probably see this because he is a lip reader.
Yeah.
But
I just blink. A pleasure. Okay.
yeah, and to try not to make a big deal of it. Unlike a lot of barons around these particular parts, we like to keep a bit more in touch with the people. And of
And
course, I've got some things to teach my son.
I understand. And yeah.
Darvin. I guess this would be an intelligence check.
All right. One moment. Character sheet, core.
Actually, Sigwald might want to roll for his portents now for
All
today
right,
while I
all right.
remember.
Okay, portent.
Before I do.
Well, if it's a well, just keeping in mind that anyone that I see, and these aren't very good rolls.
Nope, but
Ouch.
you'll probably need them later. But anyway,
Yep.
Oh.
Okay. Intelligence
Much
check.
for combat.
enabled.
yeah, hang on to those.
A 6.
You
oh
don't-
no.
Yeah, just thing doesn't occur to you. Hopefully,
Nope.
when you explain things over lunch, somebody will be able to pick it up later. Anyway, so he's like, "You go on and have your lunch, and I'll come find you when I'm done with my own business,
Okay.
and we can have a chat. Because if you're trying to get to Belarus, I've got a quicker way, but you're adventurers, aren't you?
Yes.
We might need you to do a service in return, because this isn't something we offer just anybody."
Of course. That was understood.
Right,
That's-
well, take a seat, and we got a decent kitchen and some good varieties of ale, so and some wine too if you're interested. We get a lot of imports from family over in Agref, so
Awesome.
I'll let you join your friends, and I'll go join mine. If you could maybe sit them away,
yeah.
this is still business.
Understood.
So yeah, you've seen Darvin having this conversation. Froseth has lip read every word.
And has there still been some kind of vague conversationing happening over where we?
Mostly, it's sort of been the 16-year-old young baron to be going, your bag has got funny designs on it.
Fine.
Yours and Clarity's, but both yours, they match.
Oh,
Are you
well,
two married?
Tomato. Just instant tomato. from bottom, straight. Just it's like watching water rise.
Well, it's just because they were saying that your family was ladies and they were married, and you've got matching things, and no, that's rings, sweetie, but it can be other things.
They're magic. They do this. I pull out I just pull out the hammer to just hold into
Darvin
place.
turns around in just enough
I turn
time.
around to see that and go, oh God, no!
Hazel, put that
Yeah.
I
back
calmly go over,
carefully.
takes the hammer, put
No,
it back
no,
in the
just put
bag.
it back.
I said put it back in the bag.
See,
Oh,
magic.
thank God.
Yeah, but they
Also,
still match.
with
We just happen to have two.
I'm going to quickly walk over. Okay, we are getting a seat over here.
With Starcoast gone all
Over
foggy,
here.
there needs to
They
be
have-
some kind of trade route direct to
Yeah.
Golden Death.
Drag. We have to talk.
If Sigwald wants to go to the bar, he'll find like 4 different varieties of ale. One apparently originates from Cedar Grove Sun Tree. Some originates from Goldendale, the actual capital. One originates here. It's sort of a homebrew stuff. He's had it. It's not bad. And there's one variety that's apparently a common staple in Belarus taverns. There's also wines from across Equitas. And there's a couple of dishes, but the best looking prospect is roast chicken.
Well, let's see. He's sorry. Shoot. Let's see. I actually, like, if I've been like looking over the menu over the bar or something like that, I'm actually gonna walk back over to the party, tell them what I found, and ask them, what would you like?
Chicken.
All right.
The
All
ale
right.
from Sun
Yeah,
Tree.
the chicken sounds
Yeah.
good. After the
Seconded.
cockatrice, I considered a bit of payback.
Clarity is very much the ale from Sun Tree.
Okay.
Seconded what Clarity said.
I'll try some of the wine from what was the capital? I forget the name.
Well,
Yeah.
which one? Egref?
Egref. That's how you said it. Okay,
Yeah,
I couldn't remember.
I mean, it's capitals of different countries is
Right.
the main thing, but
Also,
gonna have to go.
also
pull up the-
Sigwald, get one of the Sun Tree things for Froseth and for Darwin too.
All right.
Okay. Small
Let's
one.
see,
I'm
it's-
having the one.
I know. Still, We're getting
it will
injuries.
it will twig, given the slightly mournful expressions on their face, that the Sun Tree Ale will be from the Bailey Tavern, as in Nora's family.
Oh.
tick 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 clunk.
Yeah. It's like, oh, wait. Okay, Ixnay the wine.
All right. Darvin, what will you be having instead?
Sentry.
The Sun Tree stuff.
All right. All Sun Tree. Will you be having anything to eat? And Remy, will you be having anything to drink?
They all basically said the chicken and the Sun
All
Tree
right.
Ale.
Okay. Oh, all right.
So
Except
we'll
Remy,
just
who
we'll just have that all round. Let's
Okay,
Just say.
yes.
Just-
Let's-
Chicken and
Okay,
Sentry.
let's not make it complicated. Just get like sun tree ale and roast chicken all around.
Yeah.
And
the ale, they basically just do the 6 mugs and the flagon, and the dinner will be brought out to you. Basically, it's going to wind up with a couple of chickens to the table, and y'all can just serve yourselves.
all right.
Given the sheer number. Anyway, you guys need to talk, because Darvin is sort of still glancing over like, okay, I was not expecting that. And Froseth is just going, yeah, I know what's coming.
So-
You smug
Guys.
silly-
We need to talk. Okay.
Sure we do.
That was the Baron.
What?
Oh.
Wait a minute.
Oh.
The Baron himself. So we don't need to bother with the Seneschal. Why do you look like you know something, Froseth?
I was going, shh.
Did you do
She
that
was
again?
about to yell something.
God, did you
And
did
yes,
the thing again, didn't you?
I did the thing again, yes.
Roseth always knows things. I just assume that's what he knows
I'm
everything.
Studio Ghibli inflating, but not in anger. I'm just sort of like it's hair on end in sheer shock. It's inflating, but it's like sticking out in all directions.
I look over to
God
his
damn
and I
it.
say, Hazel, what happened to that hairband Eliza gave you?
She's actually probably wearing it like a wristband at the moment.
Oh,
So
Sorry, Claire.
you know that elastic band thing. I think
Yep.
Eliza gave it to her as sort of maybe if she fiddles with something, it'll help things. I don't know.
Sorry, Clarity. You're probably gonna have to deal with that later. But so he's teaching his son things. Apparently, they like to keep a closer, more in touch with the goings on and people.
It's the
And
informationing thing, isn't it?
oh,
Also, Clarity, help! I'm holding up the band and pointing at my hair because it's.
Should we really do this at the table, though? There's
As
Claire,
she's
Claire.
saying that, basically couple of waiters come through, 2 roast chickens, big bowl of potatoes, big bowl of greens, bread basket.
That can wait.
Total for this. Let's just say, particularly if you're going for another round of drinks, is gonna be 20 silver.
all right.
You're still in moderately inexpensive territory right now.
All right. Shall we go Dutch, or do you?
well, okay.
All right. I suppose each of us pitch in like
Couple silver.
pitch in like 2 or 3 silver.
A little bit. Yeah, the only problem is going Dutch in that particular circumstance does mean that I have given something that's not divisible by 6. So you know what?
Oh, well.
So you know what? Fuck it. I'm saying 30 silver. You can all pitch in 5 silver apiece.
There we go.
Okay. All right.
Fuck it, we got it. Okay.
So
Anyway.
Sigwell's just got you overcharged again.
Thank you.
No, but no, but,
I'm teasing. I'm
no,
teasing.
but we'll call it 24. We'll call it 20 silver, 4 silver for the tip. Each of us pitches in 4 silver.
Nope.
Oh.
Nice try,
Nice
but
try.
GM's word is law.
Yep.
We'll say that the 30 silver includes a tip and round the actual price to 25, so it's not that bad.
There you go.
All right.
Anyway.
Such is the life of a D&D party.
Well, so yeah, I guess. I mean, he said he was trying to teach his son a few things. I mean, I guess it having to do with information and whatnot would.
Well, he's actually sitting with people who've identified as a trade delegation from Egref. So that's probably what he's teaching him. It's just that they're sitting in the tap room to be more in touch with the locals. And, of course, run into you guys. Incidentally, given that he's just mentioned the Baron's son, all of you roll me intelligence checks.
Yay!
All right.
Yeah.
Not Darvin,
All right.
he's...
Yep.
That ship
I've
has
already- I got a
sailed.
6.
I will not use a portent for
Clarity.
this. Just
18 somehow.
19.
That's with a 3.
Actually,
7.
It
Yeah.
makes a lot
13.
of sense that it would be Clarity and Hazel who think about this, because they are the ones with the particular soft spot for children. So, you see, Baron, you've heard talk about wife, son. This all makes sense because there's a line of succession. Where's Baron Langerhand's wife and child? She must have them.
Oh, no.
It's not so much an assumption, it's just a question. The question of he must have them. Why have we never seen them?
Oh.
Where are Baron Langerhand's kids?
Wait, what?
Where are Baron Langerhand's kids?
To be fair, given Remy's role, it's like, well, yeah, actually, thinking about it, they would have to get married and have kids because succession line. Because he's not a young man. He's in his 40s.
Huh.
Out of character,
There
Langerhand is Baron
Is
of
Gold
the
Goldendale.
Dale.
family.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Don't feel bad. I had to stop and remember that too.
Yeah, it's because Levendrey is Starcoast and he's dead. You don't know where
Yeah.
his wife and kids were, but you kind of
They're
imagine
probably
that it was probably a horrible mess. Um,
we
Lang-
might have actually killed them on the
Langerhan,
way to the manor.
Langerhan is the Baron of Goldendale,
Mhm.
and as far as anyone could tell, he lived alone in that place. Never mentioned his wife, never mentioned his kids.
Where? Does he have them at all? Where?
Well, that's something we'll have to deal with when we're back there. But it's definitely something to note.
You're going back there the minute we're done delivering the letter.
No, we're not.
We have things to do.
We're going to determine what we do after we deliver the letter.
Yes.
You can get Flitty, who's currently on the table, occasionally nomfing bits.
Like, I have gone ashen.
And sort of going, if you can do without me for a little while, probably a while, if you have things that need to be asked about or said. This is in Draconic, by the way. I could,
Got that.
I'm mentioning for Hazel mostly. I can
Oh.
pass along a letter. I don't
Oh.
want to leave you, but it looks important. Look at the face she's making. Look at the face.
Eat your
I
chicken,
tell
Hazel.
Sigwald tells Hazel, Flitty is offering to pass along a letter if it's really important to you.
Yes, it's
Is that
something.
safe?
I don't know what to ask anyone over there about it. Have they met the Baron's kids?
We could send a letter back to Mom and Mama. Just like the first time he's actually referred to them as such, and that's going to kind of click and go. Right. Okay. You just kind of see this odd expression on his face as he realizes that's the first time I've ever actually just called them that, just outright, just blink, blink, blink. Yeah.
Did-
And then then Flitty turns in Sylvan. Stop trying to tear your hair out. There's too much of it to be all over the floor. To be a mess. Think about it, and we talk about it when you have more thinks. If you ever have more thinks, you must have more thinks sometime.
Thank you.
We'll add it to the list. We have a list. We'll add it to that.
At which point, Flitty then turns around and in Draconic going, is everybody done with the greens?
I just slide the ball over.
Actually, actually flutters into the bowl.
I'm sitting here like Jeremy Renner in that one gift, just going, just watching, getting the biggest kick out of it.
While you're doing that, you get you get Baron Laurent Grey ambling over. If you have a moment, like to have a quick chat with y'all.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
we have a moment.
He pulls up a chair. Stop with the sir. All right. It's not so much keeping a low profile as, unlike a lot of baronies you find, we try to keep it a little bit more informal around here. Respect, but not subservience, I guess is the best way of putting it. So, I understand that you all want to get to Belarus, and you want to do it in kind of a hurry. You're adventurers. Adventurers are always in a hurry. We've got a way. We don't talk about it, so this side of the country lines, it's all very hush hush. That would be part one of the payment that outside of some very trusted people, this one's foster parents, pointing at Hazel,
Mm-hmm.
and a couple of their bunch. I've heard those names before. You don't mention it to anyone.
Mm-hmm.
Other side of the country, you talk about it like you want. They don't care. It's mostly their route anyway. Not teleportation, but It will leave an hour after sundown tonight, be in Egref at dawn, and Belarus in time to find yourselves a room for the night. So less than 24 hours worth of travel. And you saw that map. That was a lot of space.
Yeah.
But we'd have to ask for more payment than just keeping your mouth shut.
Anything.
As you can see, we're hooked up to sort of a cliff system, and there's some tunnels and passages. We do a little bit of our own mining, not much, but enough to keep us in shoes and that kind of thing. Some of it goes down to the Underdark, and we not quite what you're thinking. We got most of that covered. We're not sure if it's a person or a clan of folk or something, I don't know, but they're friendly. They just keep very much to themselves. They leave us messages, and we send down folks to check that out, clear out a couple of things. Usually it's not much of a big deal. We had gnolls a couple of years ago, occasional cloaker, not a big deal. We send people in, we send them, clear them out. Today's patrol should have come in about 2 hours ago. We haven't heard from them, and they're pretty prompt. What we'd ask you to do, after you finish your lunch, go in. If you can find them and bring them home, great. If you can't, try and find some proof of not life, I guess. Check the runes. There'll be rune stones, loose stones, bright red. Can't miss them. Mark down what they look like, and then turn them over so that the white side is facing up. Don't try and look for anybody else, because we got a good thing going with them, whoever they are. And if they get curious enough to talk to you, I'm not even sure I want to know, but just try and be careful, because there's some folk there that we got a good relationship with. Also, we're going to put together another pack of supplies, because that's part of the deal. They give us runes for warning. We send some supplies that can't get down there. If something's happened to them down there, then probably some more supplies are going to be needed to be left by the rune rocks. If not, it's a bonus. They probably deserve it anyway.
Okay, so we go down. We look for the party that was sent with the supplies. Get to the station, for lack of a better word. And if we find them, great. If not, try to figure out what happened, but don't go any further than the station, essentially.
Well, try not to go too much farther. If you want to have a look around, you seem an adventuresome sort, and you never know what's down there.
Right.
I'm not going to try and dictate too much. All we want to know is if they're still alive, what happened to them if not, what those runes say, and that those supplies get to where they're going.
Okay, right. I
That's
just
fair.
wanted to verify. Yeah. So basically, explore enough to find out what happened. Try not to step on any toes, because, like you said, good thing going. Just want to make certain that we all are on the same page as far as what the actual task is, and I think we are. Is everybody kosher with this?
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Sounds
have
intriguing.
only one question. It's not entirely related to this. It's the whole Star Coast with the whole fog thing has basically stopped being a barony. So that sort of there's one less trade direction going towards Goldendale. So if there were anything you could maybe do to funnel some more stuff that way.
You're going to have to do a way bigger favor for this barony than a quick scout out before we can agree to something like that. This is still a business, little lady.
Yeah.
Anything. It doesn't matter what.
Looks at the rest of you. Holds up
I'm
a
just
hand.
looking at.
maybe we'll discuss it when you're not in such a rush. Besides, I think your friends probably want a word with you. Stop
Yeah.
by at the bar when you're done with your lunch. They'll hand you over the supplies. They'll unlock the door, lean down,
All right.
and we'll go from there.
Right.
And with that, he, by this point, he's collected his, trying to collect his 16-year-old son, but this pads over, stands by Darvin. Hello, Mr. Bard, sir?
Yes. Hi there.
Um,
Greetings.
I know that you're doing some work for father, but
Hmm?
if you do the thing and you're leaving with, and if you're leaving at the thing an hour after sundown, I was wondering if maybe you could play a little.
I would be honored.
Thank you. And he actually puts a gold piece down on the table next to Darvin. Down payment.
Well, now I have to.
And goes pounding up the stairs.
That gets put in a pocket by itself. I'm still not used to that happening.
Yeah, well, you're good at it.
Hazel, what were you thinking? Okay, no, I know what you were thinking, but that is so beyond where our. That's like way out of our wheelhouse.
I know. I just.
I mean, granted, it was worth a shot. Kudos, but wow. Okay, sorry. Anyway, sure.
Well, let's do the thing that we've actually got to do, and
Right.
and leave it at that, and go take care of the rest of the stuff, and then later we can come talk about this,
Like,
right?
Look, we can if we happen to be if we end up swinging back to Goldendale, we can I don't know, get Baron to talk to
Langerhans.
Baron, maybe Baron Langerhans to send a letter to Baron.
Gray.
I'm so bad with names. Personally bad with names. Sorry, out of character. Really bad with names.
Yeah. So okay,
But at least we have-
we're yeah. No, totally get it. I just figured I'd at least bring it up first before suddenly out of the blue setting that off later.
I mean, he didn't say no, just that we need
To
to
be
earn
fair, it's kind of hard to say no when someone says anything,
that too. But,
which no one has called Hazel on.
yeah. Also, anything, Hazel? Anything? That's a pretty big word. It's like forever. Don't throw that around.
For Mom and Mama, I would do anything.
Fair. Damn it.
When you're
I can't argue that.
negotiating, you generally don't want to lead with that, though.
And this is the sheltered fucking monk.
You
Okay.
want to
Highest
negotiate with the dwarves.
That's very true. You very
I-
much did.
I agree with Froseth.
Yeah,
That
the
is
wise
indeed
one has spoken.
with clear definitions.
Yeah, I get that now.
Thankfully, it seems like Baron Gray is too kind to exploit
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
In
Anyway,
any case,
so in any case, let's go ahead and finish our meal and our drink and or
Do the
drinks
music
and
thing.
get on going.
and assuming that you do, we are a bit beyond our 5-minute break time, but we did start a bit late anyway, so I don't feel remotely bad. We'll reconvene in about 5 minutes and go from there. And we're back. The Cupcake Coterie has agreed to go down into the Underdark to try to find the scouting party that went out to check on the various signs that some friendly party down there has left, and never came back. So, after lunch has finished and day drinking has been unfortunately curtailed, the guy at the bar opens the little door there, and there's just a little hole and a rope ladder leading down. The cellar's down there, and then there's another one of those beyond there. This says the guy behind the bar, who turns out to be the seneschal. We all work here. So,
You are so much better than the one back home.
Thanks. Y'all got torches. I think Frosa still has the torches.
I've got a bunch. I've got like 8. We've used 1 or 2 maybe.
I asked the seneschal, am I to presume that magical light sources are hazardous to use down there, or?
I honestly couldn't say. Sorry, I clearly misphrased. Because you don't have wizard written on your hat. Don't laugh. I knew a fella. It had 2 Z's. It was weird. But yeah, I should have said how y'all got a light source.
I should think we do.
Magic, torches, and some of us can just see normal.
I wouldn't entirely count on that down there from what I understand of racial abilities to see in the dark. It only goes so far.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but
to have backups, I guess.
But
you want to go first, Remy?
I suppose.
Look, you're the one in the armor.
Yeah,
it's kind of in the job description.
Yeah. So Remy takes the rope ladder down to the cellar, finds the next one down into, the dark.
Oh boy. Oh, lovely.
And this is just for now, because the first thing you encounter is mostly just tunnel, because there's underground and then there's underdark. You start underground, and it's a good 10-minute walk before you start getting a feeling that this is now underdark territory. Are you stealthing? Are you lighting the area? What are you doing?
Well, I confer. I turn to the coterie and say, "Do you want to use torches, or shall I raise some lights for you?"
What goes out faster if needed?
I can keep up the lights indefinitely as long as I'm concentrating.
Then let's do your light thing first.
I can extinguish a torch, like...
It's not...
I would be more worried about the lights going out accidentally than needing to take them out.
Yeah, it's not so much that. It's
we're
just
gonna use
that,
one, may as well use both.
Yeah, because
I do recommend that... Sorry, go on.
The only issue that I think most of you would understand, I think the only one who doesn't have this issue is Froseth. You might need light in combat, and what happens when you need to cast something else that's concentration?
Yeah, let's have a couple of us with a torch with a torch.
Mm-hmm.
I'll carry one of them. Actually, wait. Froseth, you carry one.
Can Remy carry a torch in her shield arm? and then also have the sword? Or does she need to stash the shield?
She'd need to stash either the sword or the shield, which means that she's gonna have to drop one. She's gonna have to drop the torch for one in combat. But on the other hand, the cave walls you can see have plenty of sort of crevices and things that a good strength roll will let you jam a torch into if you have to.
Okay, so she'll keep her sword sheath then and take a torch.
Okay. If push comes to shove, you can hit someone with the fucking...
So I'll hold the torch, I'll give another one to Remy, and I'll use my elemental affinity just to light them both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
you've got fire now.
That's neat.
Yeah.
Sigwald is going to murmur an enchantment, and from each fingertip on his right hand comes up a little light, which quickly rises up to the ceiling of the cavern a few feet in front of them. It's like they got ceiling lights.
Yep.
And right afterwards, and as one last little precaution, raises a hand to his chest. A little arcane aura surrounds him briefly. Some mage armor.
Okay. I'm just double checking something. At which point you get Flitty, who's taken up station on Sigwald's hat again, leaning down and going, "You know, if you don't want to concentrate on those, I can do the lights while you guys are fighting."
Sure. That sounds good.
Okay. I will keep that in mind. And settles on that. So, okay, you're lit up like a freaking beacon. You really can only see a good sort of 20, 30 feet ahead of you at the moment. And mostly what you're seeing is tunnel. Is anyone going to stealth ahead, or are you just all going to tromp?
I'll stealth ahead. I'm going to stay within the dim light area because I can see in dim light as if it were bright light, but I don't want to be like too lit up.
Yeah, but you're gonna be looking into dark segments is the thing. So that's still not gonna. If you're scouting ahead.
I have a proposal for the party. How would you feel if I kept the dancing lights ahead of us? Because I can do that.
Intelligence check, guys. If you're not thinking what I'm thinking, then
That just sounds like eat me.
Okay,
right.
no, never mind. You don't
Not-
need to. It's already been said.
Yeah,
Not
that just
on
sounds
us,
like eat
but-
me.
All right.
I mean, you
Well,
remember
we're
what
due to
happened when we
attract
tried doing something
attention
like that
either way.
with the thingies, with the critters.
Right. All right. We'll have ourselves lit up rather than where we're headed lit up. That sounds like a brilliant plan.
I mean,
We can't really go stealthy here.
One way or another, there's going to be something we can't do. One thing will cancel out another thing. So can we
Then,
just go?
Guys, they would send down a scouting party. So there's, I mean, whatever got the scouting party, if anything, we're gonna have to deal with it anyway. So let's just go. I mean, I don't see any point in even bothering with stealth at this point.
How would it affect my perception checks if I'm looking in darkness as if it were dim light? Oh, you're
You
muted.
went mute.
Oh, sorry. It raised the TN. That's about it.
Okay. I'll do that then.
Okay. Roll me perception.
Perception.
Because basically you're keeping an ahead watch. This isn't an investigation poking around. This is checking for traps, checking for creatures, checking for things. It's a mostly
Okay.
visual auditory. I'm not poking at it, I am just checking it out.
16.
Okay.
Also, I was gonna be stealthed.
Yeah, so roll me stealth.
23.
Okay. Clarity disappears out of the zone of the dancing lights and the torches. Clarity, you go further into, you know, the actual Underdark, and for a good 20 minutes you're just walking and there's absolutely nothing. Clarity does get the sense as she steps ahead that there's open space ahead. So you're coming up on a larger room or cavern formation. You guys are just moving ahead and probably run into Clarity if she's going to stop and tell you guys what's up ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna pause. I think there's an open area up ahead. I'm not sure what we should
Hi, Clarity.
be aware. Hi.
Shall I
You-
sweep the,
you-
shall I
you-
sweep the
you-
area, Clarity?
Cautiously.
All right. I send the dancing lights ahead of me, and I have them circle around kind of circle around the ceiling in the room ahead, kind of checking out
Yeah,
the walls.
it's not gonna be the whole room because you get the impression that this is fairly big. The area you get the impression that's not all of it. There looks to have been an old, very old, edge of what could be a mining cart, and some various bits of wooden debris. A couple of stalactites, that kind of thing. It seems to be empty.
I don't know.
I guess I should.
Remy? Onward?
Nothing to do but keep moving.
Can I check out the mining carts?
You can. Is there okay for you?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. So where is? I mean, Remy was the next up. So can we put her there?
Yes.
Okay, who was next?
I am immediately behind Remy.
Okay, so we'll sort of scrunch you about there.
I'll probably be behind Hazel.
I'll
They go
probably
in the
be
middle, though.
I'll probably be behind Darvin.
Yep,
Okay,
with
so
first at the
Me at the
end.
rear.
So scrunch that down a little bit.
Text the casters.
So we'll sort of. Oh, right, because I'm in. No, I should be fine. So
Yeah,
why am I not?
Close enough.
Oh, I know why, because I'm not in select move. Okay, there we go. And Froseth at the rear, you're all kind of clumped except for Clarity. Are you making an investigation check of any description?
Well, I'd have been looking for traps, but also
Okay.
just trying to see what was in the carts.
Okay,
or
so
what was
yeah,
going on with them.
make me a perception check to start with.
7.
Yeah, and you don't particularly notice anything. Actually, and given that particular check, and given where you are
Clarity.
currently standing,
Are you checking for traps?
I have been checking for traps. I just said that I was.
All right.
yeah,
How do
but
you-
you
how do you
didn't
feel
say
about
that
the design
in
back-
character. And
Alright.
that doesn't actually show up very well. That's kind of unfortunate. Is the other one actually better somehow? Maybe. Probably not.
Wow, that's next to
Oh, hello
invisible
there.
on there.
Yeah, well, it actually makes a certain amount of sense, but I'll swap it for something a bit more visible later.
Obvious.
Because as Clarity, with her particularly poor perception check, walks past a couple of the stalactites, one of them lashes out with a tentacle and yoinks her towards it, at which point she sees an eye open and a mouth with lots and lots of teeth. Tentacles
Oh,
start
Jesus,
flailing out of this thing.
I can't make like a save against that.
Not with that roll, you can't.
All right.
That's
Okay. First of all, I'll show you what you're actually looking at on the.
Oh, lovely.
You.
On the
Ugh.
board. So just so that
It's-
you're
what is it?
aware, that is a roper.
Okay. Okay.
Oh God, one of those things. Oh man.
But I'm
I
going
don't know
to.
what a roper.
I'm going to. I'll read you the description in a moment, but for the moment, I'm going to replace him with a far more visible mushroom man.
Okay. Mushroom roper. Okay.
You know the mushroom man.
We are going to get smited so hard for that.
Yes. The roper is an evolved, mature form of piercer with which it shares its rock-like appearance and hunting tactics. A roper can hold still for long hours, shutting its single eye to look like nothing more than a mundane formation of rock. Creatures that come too close are surprised when that eye snaps open and sticky tendrils shoot out to seize them. The roper then makes horrible guttural sounds as it reels in its struggling victims, drawing them close for the fatal bite of its stony teeth. A roper can digest anything it eats, with the exception of platinum, gemstones, and magic items, which can sometimes be retrieved from the creature's gizzard after death.
Why are
Okay.
these things a thing?
And I
is
would
good.
like you all to roll initiative.
Okay.
Yay.
Why does that thing
Hello there,
exist?
jerk.
12.
There's about like
14.
at least 3 different D&D monsters that could be
15.
stalactites. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
21.
Shit.
Oh, there it is.
10.
And
18.
Oh. Turbo Wizard a go-go.
All right. We can role play. Oh, sorry. Go on. So,
no, just you go ahead while I make note of the initiative.
Coffee did he drink?
all right. I guess we'll role play this as me reacting, as like bursting through the rest of the group, noticing that Clarity has not responded to me, and I see the roper, and I take one look at that, and I go, "Oh hell no!" And I open with a
Hang on, just a
scorch.
sec. Okay, go. That far is fine, but I'm not paying 100% attention. So wait until I call for combat to begin, because I'm trying to
Okay.
make notes of the initiative order, so we're not pausing
Gotcha.
too much in the middle of combat for me to
Yeah, because initiative order in this thing is a bear.
Yep.
Okay. Sigwald.
Let's see. Well, noting that Clarity did not respond, or was suddenly
Well,
interrupted.
you
when
can actually. Well, actually, to be fair, you
It's-
can't where you're standing. You can't see. So if you want to be able to see what's happening to her, you have to move.
I was getting to that.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say that I was like whispering to Clarity, "Are you checking for traps?" And then she's suddenly interrupted mid-response, and then like, "What's going on?" And I shoulder through the rest of the group
Where
to
do
like,
you want to go? Yeah.
let's say, let's say, is there space between like my left hand cavern wall and Remy?
So, like,
there.
There?
Out there.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to move a little bit further ahead, to be
All right.
fair.
Well,
'Cause-
let's
Mhm.
stay there, and I see the
'cause-
roper going after
Yeah.
Clarity, and I go,
Oops.
"Oh, how rude!" And I immediately open with my old favorite, Scorching Ray.
Fire the lasers!
Yes, so
I'm charging my laser.
the far and the laser. And
Vintage beams ahoy!
let's see. This is good. Let's call this normal rolls.
As opposed to Badger, Badger,
One.
I miss badgers.
I'll just do all three. 2,
Whoa!
3.
Badger. Damn.
22, 23, and 15.
The first two hit. The second,
Okay.
the second one, the third one rather, doesn't. I mean, it sort of hits, but it's a really rocky carapace, so it just bounces off without doing any particular damage. The first two, however,
Alright.
do hit roll damage.
Okay, let's see the damage on these. Whoops.
Wrong one. Well,
That was supposed to do a damage.
It
okay.
did for the
Seven
one that
fire.
missed.
All right. Okay. Okay, that's weird. All right. Well, I'll
just try
click
clicking it
do
again.
damage for 2 of them, and that's a 1 and a 6. But because of my elemental affinity to fire, the 1 becomes a 2, so I do 8 damage with that one.
Okay. Okay.
And for the
There's-
second, sorry,
No, go ahead. That's cool.
for the second one, that's a 4 and a 6, so 10 more damage.
18 total, apparently.
Okay, there were some scorch marks, and it doesn't sound particularly happy. Hang on, before we do anything else.
Well, at least it's not immune to fire, so that's good. Because
I
I
see.
don't care about fire resistance, having fire affinity.
Behind you.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Okay, Darvin.
All right. I'm going to, being in such tight quarters, I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to, can I run forward, get close enough to hit it and just jab at it with my rapier?
Okay, hang on, just let me move Clarity to... You can
Uh-huh.
sort of squeeze in there next to Clarity.
Okay.
Because you're
'Cause
you're going to be in difficult terrain if you're on the...
Understood. I'm just trying to get a shot off because I'm trying to get it to let go. So I will take a shot with rapier. As soon as I can. Oh, wait. Why does it look? Okay. There we go. 9.
Rapier skates off
Yep.
this thing's hide, which does feel like rock. It actually spits sparks, as you're gonna have to sharpen this thing by the. Well, to be fair, because it's a magical blade, you probably won't. But that's your first thought, and then oh no, wait, magical blade. But ow.
Yeah.
I think I did.
Yeah. I'm just like, shing, and then the sparks, and I'm like, jeez. Okay, that didn't work.
Okay, Remy.
Because I was looking right at those
Oh
sparks.
no, wait a minute.
Like,
Sorry, Darvin. Bonus action. Do you have one?
Yeah. I'm gonna do inspiration dice on Clarity. And I got nothing as far as lyrical off the top of my head because she's been grabbed. I'm panicking as a player, so I got nothing. I'm sorry. But yeah, is it a 1d8 but now, or is it still a 1d6? It's still a
1d6 until you hit level 5.
That's what it was. Okay. I knew that was coming up. I couldn't remember if it was 4 or 5. Thank you. So,
Okay, so Clarity has a 1d6 inspiration die. So Remy, you're up.
Okay, she is going to run for the tentacle,
Okay.
and
So, and 5, 10, 15. You can just about get there because you've been slowed up because of the difficult terrain there. But moving is going to be a bit of a problem because you're currently standing on some relatively unstable wooden and weirdly organic debris.
Okay.
Kind of squishy, rotten wood.
And then there's some other things going squish, but you have no time to look at it right now.
Oh God, I don't want to know.
What did you do?
That sounds grody.
What did you do with the torch?
can she drop the torch at her feet and draw her sword to attack in the same turn?
Yeah, I mean that's just a drawing. Unfortunately, because of the general bits of soggy that are in the vicinity, torch goes out.
Whoops.
So yeah, I think it's now only Clarity and later Hazel who can actually see anything because Sigwald is still has now cast a spell, so his concentration on
Well, hang
His
on.
concentration's still working.
Oh no,
I'm still-
because
I
it
still-
needs to be
I
another
still keep
concentration
up-
spell. No, I get it. I always forget that. Thank you. So yeah, you've still got light. You're good. Okay, so
Mhm.
go for it.
Yay. Okay.
Loop the loop goes dancing lights.
Yes.
22.
Big
Roll
damage.
roll damage.
Pow!
Yeah, this actually sinks in a little bit. It's still not doing it a massive amount of. This is like carving rock. Clarity, you are face to face with this mad, grody eye and these sharp rock teeth snapping at you. You're not currently restrained. You've just been dragged towards this thing.
So I'm prone?
No, thankfully
No, just
you are not.
sort of pulled.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Because they were kind of sticky tendrils. They weren't really wrapping. They were just kind of stick pull.
Yeah, not
Hold on.
they're not
Is that right?
they're not wrapping yet, and she was pretty close anyway.
Right.
Okay.
Bit of a question.
What?
No, by all means, go ahead. We can figure out this afterwards.
No, what?
My initiative was 14. Clarity's wasn't that less?
12.
I got the letters mixed up. Okay, no, you're quite right. Hazel, sorry, Clarity, we'll get back to you.
I am so sorry about that.
No, it's fine.
No,
No, that was
it's
fair.
fair enough. It's just, I wish you'd said something when I first declared it was Clarity's turn because I had this whole big thing, and anyway.
Yeah, I was trying to. I'm just not very good at asserting.
Anyway.
Raise a hand.
That right. Will do.
Anyway.
I will try to get to next to Remy,
Yeah.
provided that's a space I can smack at it from.
You can. I'm going to put you at disadvantage because you're standing right on top of the squish.
Mm-hmm.
That is fair. Okay. Disadvantage, and I'm just going to try to hammer this thing. That is a 7.
You wobble, quong, and you act. The hammer actually rebounds, so you come very close to falling over backwards.
And let's see. I am going to call up a spiritual weapon.
There is no place to put a spiritual weapon.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then that's my turn.
Okay, Clarity.
All right. Bonus action, disengage. And I'm going to back up 2 squares next to Sigwald.
Okay. Blink.
And I will throw an acid dagger.
Okay.
Is it sneak attack since there's like 3 people engaging it?
Because you use the disengage action, yes.
Okay.
Roll
24.
Roll damage.
Well done.
8 piercing, 4 acid, and sneak attack 5. Dagger sinks into a spot near the eye, which is a bit more fleshy than most of the rest of it, and back into her belt. Okay.
I've never heard rock sizzle like that.
To be fair, you kinda did when Sigwald was throwing fireballs around. Froseth! You can't see any of what's going on. You just saw everybody charge into this and hearing sort of skate, sking, ching, whom, and probably
Sizzle, sizzle,
ow
sizzle.
from
Okay, so-
Hazel.
Well, obviously we'll run around to see what's going on then.
Yeah, you'd need to. Ooh, that's the actual map. You'd have to move to about there to even see what's going on. So that's 10 feet of your movement.
Okay, so I've got
I am
plenty left. So how high is the ceiling here? Since this is a stalactite, like we can obviously, it's low enough that we could reach it.
No, sorry, it's actually stalagmite. I always get those confused. It's on the ground.
Okay.
It's down rather than up. The
Okay.
ceilings are. They're not hugely low, but they're not. It's not cavernously high either. You can't quite, and you can about see what you think is ceiling, but the walls and the stone is so dark that you can't actually really
Well-
tell whether it's more dark up there or rock.
All right. So let's move on to the roper and
There, the spot where Clarity vacated.
and I guess I'll keep the torch in one hand, take a comma in the other to try attacking it.
Okay.
Da, da, da.
Yeah, that's Sparks skating off
God.
the top of it. Not
Damn it.
that many. It's a flint and steel thing. It's just
Oh, okay.
it's not massive flying sparks. It's just what happens if you strike a bit of metal across stone. Just
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay. Bonus action, unarmed attack. I'll just try to kick it.
okay.
13.
No,
Ow.
you kick it, but there's no real sense that you're doing. It's just like kicking a rock. You've done that in
Yeah.
training, and it felt a lot less pointless then. Natural armor is a bitch, guys. Okay.
Yeah. That description is
Ropers exist.
is Flitty light. Do the thing.
Well, Sigwald's lights are still going, and it's not
right.
Flitty's
Mhm.
turn yet. Anyway.
Oh, bad.
Okay, so now it is the Roper's turn. This is
It's like-
not going to be fun for anyone, by the way.
Pick one. We're all right here.
No,
Gourmet. It's a smorgasbord.
the Roper makes 4 attacks with its tendrils, uses reel, and makes 1 attack with its bite.
4 attacks?
Uh-huh.
Oh, cool.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. Well,
Okay, so the tentacles go flying. This is now the tentacles are in significant business, so the next people are not going to be as lucky as Clarity.
right.
And reaches 50
Well.
feet. So the person who did it the most damage
Remy.
No, actually, the person who did most damage is Sigwald.
Oh,
Of
Oh
course.
no!
ruh-roh.
I know what
What's-
I'm going to do about this. I think. Go on.
Yeah. So that's.
Okay, but before you roll,
I've already rolled.
oh well, shit.
I
All
was
right.
waiting, but
I was waiting for you to like. Ugh.
No,
Okay. The thing is, I don't want to be
If
using
I-
portents like jump in screaming portent, 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 all rude like. Okay. Sorry. I got a little snappy. Okay, I'll take the missed opportunity to use a portent and react with shield.
Okay, so what does that bring your AC up to?
It brings it up to 20 for until let's see, what's the time limit on shield? It lasts until, okay. Let's see. It lasts until the start of my next turn. So yeah, just
Jesus!
Yeah, it rolled 15. Its attack is it's +7 to hit.
of course. Well,
Okay, so target is grappled.
I want
You're
to.
restrained
All right. After this, I
and
do.
has
yes.
disadvantage on strength checks and strength saving throws, which I think is how you'd actually be getting out.
All right.
And that tendril is engaged. 3 more to go. Person who did it, a significant amount of damage and is not in the immediate vicinity and already got away once.
Here we go again!
What's your AC?
Mine?
Yeah.
It's 15.
Clarity knows this trick and thankfully can see the tendril coming towards her this time and just dodge out of the way.
Hey.
Next is gonna go for Remy. Oh, that's a natural 18.
Why? Why do these things exist?
So 25 total, which I think hits.
Yeah, Froseth is, Froseth appears to be. Can someone read that out to me?
Something in the Skype locked up. His video is frozen.
Yeah, it's frozen on our end too. You might want to switch on and switch off again. Don't worry, I wasn't going to attack you anyway. You didn't actually do any damage to it, so it's not really all that interested in you.
Or me, thank goodness.
Well, no, actually, it's running out of targets that's actually hurt it.
Oh well. I'm not.
In all fairness, though, it is looking for something a bit easier in terms of a snack, and you still have something on top of Sigwald's hat.
Oh hell no! That's
Oh,
going to be the
damn.
portent.
Okay, which one?
The 4. Sigwald's gonna dip a dancing light in front of the thing's eye to
I'm sorry, no, I'm not laughing at you. He rolled a 3.
The portent was better than what he rolled.
I rolled just as you said portent, and I thought, okay, it doesn't really matter. I'll use the portent because he called it. And it just turned out I
Just
rolled
the dice. It's
Well.
the dice decided to agree with your plan.
Hey,
Well,
either way.
Hey,
Sorry.
I was no chances taken. Like, you can bite the hell out of me. You ain't touching Flitty. You ain't touching my boy.
That's adorable. I love
Yeah,
you, Sigwald.
basically, Sigwald sort of does the thing that's been happening for the last little while. Sort of chucks his head so that his hat goes flying to give Flitty a cue to take off.
Try
Okay.
that now when I try to something.
Shit, Frozen. Anthus is like entirely not in the call. Like he's out of the call, and it's not letting him back in.
Okay, let me hang up on him.
Something weird's going on with my Skype too. I'm just gonna get out and come back in.
Tell him to try and get back in.
That was awesome. Awesome, Sigwald. That was awesome.
So awesome that reality itself conformed to your wishes.
You are not touching my boy.
Yeah,
And
chuck
I'm
that.
just gonna poke Antheus in Steam and
All right.
Wow, this is getting buggy.
It's Skype. Welcome to the wonderful world of Skype.
You're living in the broken future of technology.
There we go.
okay, so that's it for tentacle attacks, and it gets to reel somebody in.
Okay.
Who's going for a ride?
There is no save for this, and you're restrained anyway. Sigwald, you
Okay,
are
and I
in
go.
fact going. Oh, wrong.
Okay.
There you go.
Huzzah!
Yeah,
Welcome
I
back.
thought it might be useful if I hung up on you because clearly something. You just squeeze between Darvin and Froseth.
Whoop, whoop. Crap.
And at that point, it makes a bite attack on you, and of course you are restrained, so...
It's, well, oh, so it has advantage?
Well,
Well, or something like that.
gonna have to double check, but yeah,
I think it might
probably.
be a bite attack thing.
Okay, and... Sorry, so that lasts until the end of your next turn, which will be...
Well, until the start of my next turn.
Until the
So
start of your next turn, so you're still on shield, but it rolled a 17.
Of course.
Plus 7 on the bite, again.
What
So...
even are your dice, Thess?
Hey, but they rolled a 3 for Flitty. For once, it doesn't want to kill my character. Okay, so that's
Yeah, given the entirety of the first Star Coast debacle, oh boy.
10, 12. That's 17 points of piercing damage as this thing drags Sigwald's leg over to him and chomp!
Oof! Sigwald just shouts angrily. Ah! Ow!
That's going to leave a mark.
At which
All
point...
right, I'm done. Yeah, this thing can two-shot me. Cool.
yeah. At which point, let me just check on a thing because some of this is a little bit new to me. Okay.
Mm.
Out of absolutely nowhere, arrow comes flying out of the dark and shunk into the into the spot where rock becomes tendril on Sigwald. Given it actually lets go.
Oh shit!
There's this boom from the arrow as well that Darvin kind of recognizes, because it's an awful lot like a miniaturized version of his Thunder Wave. That's force damage. Oh. Oh, shit. So hang on that.
What is going on? What is going on?
So, another 1d8, so that's 10, 16. Another arrow basically clips it in the eye so that the eye is now bleeding. And it's distinctly not happy. That was a crit. So
I have had eye injuries. Those suck.
the third one, rather unfortunately, whoever's firing is clearly trying not to hit any of you. So that one goes a little bit high as it's trying to avoid smacking into Hazel.
Oh, since I took damage, I need to make a con check to see if I keep up the dancing lights.
You do?
Or con save. All right, so Constitution saving throw. It's going to be against. I took 17 damage. All right,
Yeah,
so
17.
that's going to be against like a DC of 9, right?
Minimum is 10. It's 10 or half the damage, whichever is
All right,
higher.
okay. DC 10 con save. Let's see. Here we go.
Yay!
11.
Barely.
Yeah,
Lights still on.
the lights do flicker, but they hold. They
Mhm.
hold.
Yay.
Flitty basically looks up from well, more down because flapping. Do you want me to put the lights so you can focus on something else?
No, I think I got this. I've got this.
Okay. At which point, what is everybody's favorite fairy dragon going to do?
The eternal question.
The most
Glory to
competent
tiny,
party
flappy,
member.
and deadly.
How
Weird.
will Flitty fuck this up? Fuck this thing up. I just like the alliteration.
To be honest, there's not a terrible lot that it can do.
Ooh,
Everybody,
I know what I'm
everybody who needs to be, everybody who would need to have mirror image cast on them is,
Too close.
well, is grappled basically. So it's like, I think Healy Lady probably needs. So Flitty casts mirror image on Hazel, just in case, and goes, I'm gonna go find out where the pointies are coming from.
And finish.
Top of the round.
Top of the round, Sigwald. First thing is you're going to need to make a strength save with disadvantage
All right.
to try to get
Yep.
out of the.
I thought.
Going to be
Okay,
great.
never mind.
Yeah, this is not gonna happen. And but yeah, here we go.
Wow, that's a
Oh my god.
You,
No.
you actually wrench something in your shoulder trying to get out of that, and you don't take any literal damage, but you just feel that ow.
That's gonna sting later.
You can still act because
All right.
I mean you're restrained, but
All right.
but you're not
Well.
getting away from it anytime soon.
Well, in response to this, I'm just gonna, through clenched teeth, say, "Very rude indeed," and I cast Magic Missile at 2nd level.
Okay.
So, hang on. Certainly, I have it hotkeyed to like at level 1. So let me take down a 2nd level spell slot, and see if I can set up a dice roller. So all right. 4. This is gonna be magic missile damage. 4d4 plus 4. 12.
Yeah, it's the arrows wherever they came from seem to do it the most damage, but it's now starting to look pretty ow. Okay, Darvin.
Okay. Each of these squares, just to check, each of these squares is 5 feet on each side, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna back up a few feet, a couple squares.
The problem is if you you mean to where Clarity is?
Yes.
Okay.
And I'm gonna cast Cloud of Daggers centered on it.
Okay. You can do that.
I'll pop the spell card for you. Just a second.
No, he sings of sharp things.
I'll just cast it at level 2. So it's 4d4 slashing damage when it enters and on a turn where it starts there. So basically, as long as I concentrate and keep it going, it's going to take 4d4 slashing damage every round, starting
Okay.
now.
Okay. And that's on a turn, not the creature's turn.
Mm-hmm.
So roll damage.
Okay.
Just actually, Sigwald's been let go of.
12 total.
Yeah, it's looking pretty rough right now.
Yeah, it's now sitting in a cloud of daggers. That has got to be the best application of that I've ever done.
Pretty much, given its movement speed is 10 feet.
That thing literally
Wait,
cannot
it can?
get out of that,
Shit,
can
I didn't
it?
even know it could move.
Oh, it can move. It just very, very slowly.
I had no idea. I thought it was stuck where it was.
Nope, it can move.
Oh, that sucks. It can actually move out of it.
Yeah, but at this point, it's probably not going to last for very much longer. Do you have a bonus action?
I do. I will. Let's see. Okay, I gave one. So let me give a. Wait. Okay, Clarity dodged it. Sigwald got Sigwald's
removed. Got it removed.
So then Remy's still held, right?
Yes.
Okay, so then I will do an inspiration dice on Remy. That's 2 of the 3 that I have available to me. So yeah. So Remy, you now have 1d6 inspiration die.
Yay.
Which reminds me, you do need to, now that it is your turn, make a strength save with disadvantage to try to get out of the...
Advantage. Strength.
You have an inspiration die? If you want to roll the d6?
Okie doke.
It still doesn't help because the DC is 15, but I had to make the offer anyway to remind you that when you have inspiration dice, you can use them. Anyway, you're still grappled, but you can still hit the thing.
She is gonna do that. Is that back at normal?
No, actually, I mean, no, I suppose technically an attack isn't a strength check, although it does rely on strength. So we'll just go with regular, yeah.
21.
Roll damage.
Nicely done.
14.
The almighty power of Doink!
And yet again, how do you want to do this?
Ah!
Of course.
Christ!
There aren't that many options of where to stab it, so we can just call it through the eye.
I was gonna suggest.
Yeah.
Pop its eye out.
Jab it in until it stops squirming.
Basically, Remy thrusts forward, still wrapped in this thing's tentacles, jabs it straight through the eye, and then twists the sword.
Oh! And the whole eye just goes.
Well, it more punctures and fluids leak.
Oh!
Flushes the arrow out as well.
Oh god, I can smell that. Oh god.
The tentacles loosen and they take a minute to drop because they're sticky. But, I mean, Sigwald's free, but Remy has got sort of sticky sludge on her armor as she pulls the remnants of the goo off.
I am putting the
I think I can do. That's a sound I cannot duplicate on a viol. Thank God.
I am putting the hammer away, pulling out the staff of healing, and dumping 2 charges into Sigwald.
Okay, roll for it.
Yep. Just organizing that. "19 points of direct healing. I have clapped him on the shoulder and just shouted at the top of my lungs, "You walk in the sun, and the sun heals the worthy."
From somewhere in the shadows, going, you hear this female voice. Not all of the worthy can walk in the sun, you know. Flitty flaps back and lands on Sigwald's hat.
Oh, good. There you are.
I was looking for where the pointies came from. And that voice sort of goes, you couldn't turn a little bit of the light down, could you? I don't like it very much.
I bring it down to one light.
Those of you who can see well in dim light, that's Clarity and Hazel. The rest of you just see a dark, hooded shape. Humanoid, possibly female, cloaked, so it's a bit hard to tell. Quiver of arrows and bow across their back. Hazel and Clarity can see features. Black skin, very, very pale gray eyes, and somewhere under that hood, white hair. There's a suggestion of pointed ears. And even for what you... Okay, you two make me, I guess a nature check.
All right.
Actually, Hazel can probably do a religion check, to be fair, because this also touches on...
Gonna do
18
thing.
for nature.
4 for religion. Yeah, I got no idea.
Hazel's like, I didn't know elves came that dark, and I know Mella's got very, very brown skin. Clarity has read enough books and remembers some things from what Torin said. That is a drow. They're supposed to be evil and crazy and worshipping a spider goddess of chaos, which doesn't actually make sense to you now that you're thinking about it, because why would something that weaves webs and does structure be a goddess of chaos? Except didn't Torin say that the humanoid races that are supposed to be evil that live down here didn't start that way? Froseth escaped something horrible. Maybe this one did too.
Hi. Thanks for saving our asses.
I didn't get the finishing blow, but... Well, I admit I was curious. She's actually trying to stay as far away from you guys as possible. Can you give me some space? I need my arrows back. They don't break,
Sure.
but they're limited. It's not like anybody can make them anymore. At least
they
not where I come
Inch
from.
out of the way.
Yeah, assuming space, this hooded
Yeah, no.
figure sort of picks up her arrows, wipes them off, puts them back in her cover. Who are you? What are you doing here? You're not the ones who normally come here.
We're actually
We're
looking
here to
for
find
them.
out what happened to them.
because they haven't reported back.
Yeah, I was tracking them. I guess I know what happened. I'm gonna have to do some more clearing out, which I guess is okay. I need something to do with my time.
I'm going to finally look down at the squishy.
Yeah, things have been digested.
Ugh, ew, oh, gee.
You get used
Oh, by the gods, what is that?
leavings.
Ugh.
Oh, that means it ate the supplies. Ugh, typical. And
Oh,
Roll more.
and too much talking. Too much talking. Just actually backing.
Sorry. We okay. we were sent down here to track the people that normally come, they hadn't reported back, and figuring something probably happened, we have more supplies. Obviously, they need to be replaced.
Well, I need to change the runes then, because if we've got ropers moving in, I guess I'll have to do some more hunting. I can do that. I can do that. I can, I think I need to be somewhere that's more,
Not here.
well, no, more like home if I'm gonna have to talk to people.
Okay.
Hang on.
Mhm.
Takes a deep breath, and then pushes the hood back, and that's when you all see it. I mean, it's a little bit
Oh.
difficult. And Darvin, I'm just gonna give it to Darvin because he actually remembers stories, so he remembers what Torin was saying about
Mm-hmm.
you, because you're all looking at me, and I can imagine why. And if you're gonna be trying to do anything horrible to me, I warn you right now, I'm not gonna die for the misfortunes of my ancestors. Not gonna do
Nope. Nope.
Ancestors?
Yeah.
Completely clueless.
it. I'm only gonna be able to get this out once because I haven't spoken to people in a very long time. So clearly you want the answer to this, so I'm gonna say it. We've always lived down here, and my family, a very long time ago, we used to live in a little, and it wasn't always just sludge and rocks, and that we had civilizations. I hear we had much nicer civilizations once, and we worked with the dark dwarves and the deep gnomes, and it was all supposed to be really good, and then we don't know if it was the gnomes or the dwarves, but somebody dug up something they shouldn't have, and horrible things happened. I'm told anyway, the stories were that my family, they lived outside and they managed to miss it, but they came after the years and the decades and the centuries, and they came to hunt us, and they came for my village. I was hunting. It was my first hunt, and I was so happy, proud. I was only 16, and they came, and I saw they slaughtered everyone. So I ran. I hunt them when I find them, because they can't get up there. It's bad enough that they're down here. They can't get up there. But I can't just live down here, so I also help them with the little things, and they leave bits and pieces. And I'm Shinraya. Hi.
Okay.
Hi.
I'm just going to say this. We were told you were friendly. That's all we need to know. The rest of it doesn't matter.
Well, it might do because things are moving more.
Right.
And this one's talking about sun walking, and they talked about the not wanting the sun anymore. And if you still want to be able to do that, then you probably should know some things. So I told you the things. And who are you exactly?
I'm Darvin Taylor. I'm a bard by trade. This is Hazel, Hearth, cleric.
Hi, Paylor.
Clarity.
Hello.
You're not a ranger, are you?
Me? No. I skulk about.
Yeah, so do I. But I guess I skulk about differently than
Yeah.
than you do. Oh, I have a neat trick, and I haven't shown anybody tricks in a very long time.
I love tricks.
I'll drop it in a minute, and
Okay.
everything goes dark, pure black. You two can't see a thing. At which point, Clarity feels a little tap on her shoulder. I can see you.
Oh.
And when the dark lifts,
Oh, okay.
she's standing right back where she was.
That's a neat
Very
trick.
impressive. Most
Yeah,
impressive
that's-
indeed.
I can see in it.
That's amazing.
That's cool.
Okay,
I
so
wish I could do that.
Froseth, Remy, and Sigvold. And we're just adventurers who were asked to come down and find out what happened. Is basically all we are. We're not wanting to harm anyone. We just are here to find out what happened. Obviously, this is what happened.
Well,
Is this what got?
probably, as far as I can tell, I've been reading the tracks, and yeah, you're not going
Okay.
to be able to find anything to bring them back, because it ate. These things eat everything, everything.
Right.
And I don't think they're rich enough to carry platinum or magical items or anything like that. So, I
Oh,
mean,
it won't. It can't eat that. Okay.
well, it can't digest that. It
Well,
digests
fair.
everything else.
Pry it open, see if there was anything in there.
And she
Uh,
points into the shadows. My front door is down there. Don't you go dissecting something that messy on my doorstep. I will
Yeah,
move
I was
it to
gonna
your
say.
We'll
doorstep.
leave it.
Yes.
We'll leave it.
Yeah, we can just leave it. We'll.
Yeah, we'll do whatever you want us to.
I don't want them to know about me. Just in
Okay.
case, because
That's fine.
I actually maybe I should ask first. The views on people like me, they probably haven't changed very much in uh, 83 years.
Oh.
There's well, where I come from, my home wouldn't care no matter what. You're a person.
I mean,
They mean top side.
angry
Mm.
mobs, torches, things. To be fair, it's actually probably worse.
Yeah. Yeah. We won't tell them.
That-
Okay, so what you do is you tell them that the runes were sort of a rectangle thingy with a crack in it,
Clarity, please write this down.
a circle in a bigger circle,
Hmm.
and a sort of a triangle thingy with 3 lines coming down from it. They'll know what it means. And that means I
Okay.
won't have to muck around with the runes. And that will tell them, just so that you know, because they might not explain it to you, that there's some nasties, and they're probably not going to want to send people down for at least a week, but that it'll be taken care of.
Okay.
Okay.
The last rune was triangle with lines coming down from it.
3 lines.
3
What?
lines.
3
Okay.
lines.
What was the orientation of the triangle?
Top down.
All
Top
right.
down. So a regular,
And then-
like a regular triangle
And line.
with 3 lines coming straight down from the bottom.
Puts
Well,
the hood back up, because clearly doesn't like the light very much, even if it is dim. So
And
also clearly has not
at this-
dealt with people in a very long time.
at this point,
We-
I say, if it isn't a bother to you, seem to for someone of my personage, red light is most comfortable when my eyes are sensitive. What about you?
Cast the magical darkness kid. That's what's comfortable for me.
Very well. And I just
Turns it off again.
I just stifle the last dancing light.
Thank you. Except
And-
now you guys probably can't see very well.
Well, I mean,
We've got the one torch still.
yeah, and yeah,
It's just
we're
inches
kind
away.
of trying to keep that.
This is probably going to sound absolutely ridiculous coming from someone like me, but even though you're not actually walking in the sun, I think you do. Like, you're worthy.
Metaphorically speaking.
Okay, I'm just gonna try to keep in mind that that probably makes a lot of sense to people who surface walk, because I don't do people. I it's actually looking on your back. Poof, comes back. Loot. Listen. What she plays is something that probably hasn't been heard in, well, nearly 100 years. It's old. It is so very old and very clearly of an elven that not even Hazel in her earliest, haziest memories has ever heard. And it's beautiful.
Then you just see just one.
Maybe something.
Wow.
Maybe something can go back up. Sorry to ask and everything, because you helped with some of the clear up.
We have, yeah. Do you have need of the supplies that we brought to replace what was?
That would kind of be great, because I mean,
Yeah, I figured since it ate them was from what I can tell at least.
If you were carrying
Trying
it in
not
the
to
back
look
of
too
holding,
close to the squish. Hazel, you have the supplies, right?
out of the bag.
and appears and actually pulls out what appears to be a pot of some kind of jam and just opens the jar.
Oh, I'm gonna pull out the preserves.
Hazel, you sure? Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just gonna offer that too. From where I live.
And those are her favorite.
Digs into a pouch, pulls out sort of a vial and scrapes some into it, corks it, closes the jar, about half and half. Hands the half to... I'm not going to take it all. That's rude. It is rude, isn't it? I'm not very good with people.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I think Hazel was giving it.
Yeah, I was just offering the whole thing. You wanted it.
And I'm sure that's nice, but if someone's nice, aren't you supposed to be nice? So we're all being nice.
Yes.
And let's just leave it there.
Yes,
I'm
we are.
I'm getting confused now.
It's okay. Hazel just take.
Yeah, I'm bad at words.
Is now when I'm supposed to say that it's nice to meet you? Because I don't know if it is or not.
It is.
Yeah.
It has been very nice.
This is a good moment.
I thought it was nice to meet you.
Very much
It
so.
just makes my head a little bit squiggly.
It's okay. We will go. We have all of the information that we need. We will go. We will leave you be. Thank you for your help.
One last thing. Did you need more arrows? I have some left over, and I don't use them much anymore.
She gives it's a very rusty smile. Holds out one of hers. Try break it.
I'm not very strong, to be fair.
Okay, somebody strong. Try and break them.
I can.
Remy?
Okay, if you're sure.
Even in a take 20 moment, she can't even bend them.
Okay, she's got a good point about these arrows.
Wow. A good point. Really? That's my job.
Yes,
Oh.
really.
Oh, sweet Taylor. What even was that, Remy?
You can take it for granted, is what you can take it as.
I'm sorry. We're a lot.
Puns, okay.
We're, as a group, we're a lot. I apologize for us.
Okay, that's got to be the group motto right there. I apologize for us.
Yoinks her arrow back. It's very nice of you that these were made by my people very, very long time ago, and they don't break. And ones that do, it'd be wasteful. But if I could take one to maybe remember you by.
All right.
So I know that I didn't hallucinate you people. She looks
That's a
dead
good idea.
serious about it.
All right. So I pull out an arrow from the bag of holding and offer it to her.
if you ever need me, because I still know things. I think maybe if I get used to the idea of maybe talking to people, maybe things, but you know where I am.
Hmm?
I guess.
No one else.
All right.
And
Well, thank you for helping us.
well, I had to kill it anyway. But I think my people caused enough death. At which point she pulls a rope that's sort of hooked to her belt and casts it up, where it apparently sticks somewhere in the shadows of the ceiling, and then climb. Yoink! Pulls the rope up and gone.
That's a hell of an exit. Right. Well, shall we? I don't want to run in another one of those things.
Are the
Right.
rooms
Good idea.
turned over? Are
Well,
the rooms
no,
turned
Well,
over?
she's
They're
gonna take care.
they're still, and if you explore around the area, you'll probably not too far because you don't want to run into anything. You do eventually find that the stones are turned to white now. She clearly hadn't flipped them to whatever they needed to be yet. So
Okay.
clearly she only did that when she caught someone approaching.
Mhm.
Gods only know how long she was tracking you, because Gloomstalker Rangers, guys.
I had a feeling the minute she could see in the total darkness drow thing.
Well, to be fair, Drow dark vision's already 120 feet. Gloomstalker Rangers have dark vision 30 feet beyond what your racial dark vision is. She could see
Well,
you
what I
coming
mean
a
was when she
mile
cast
away.
the drow darkness
Yeah.
thing.
On top of that, yeah. Anyway, let's go. Let's get back up. Climb.
Yeah, you.
Shall we take the body of the
What body? No. Mm-mm.
No,
Not-
we can't even move that thing. It's huge.
all right. So we'll just tell them
We've got the runes that we need.
we'll just tell them that there's
Roper
a
got
minor there's an infestation of ropers.
Well, not so much
All right.
infestation. Say you saw one,
We saw one. There may be more.
but they're being
Mhm.
taken care of. That's what the rules
Yep.
were about. But
There are
you-
nasties.
you
They're
don't
being
but-
taken care of.
Well, to be fair, you don't technically know that, as you consider as you're going on. So it's like, we saw a roper. What do these runes mean? Does that mean anything? That preserves her secret.
Exactly.
Right.
That's the idea.
Okay.
That's what I was trying to get across.
Yeah.
Thank you.
By the time you get out, it's a bit of a trek. Things are setting up for dinner over in the main area of Gray's Inn. It's busy in there, so when you come out, grubby and things, Seneschal is sort of going. Before you even think about talking to the Baron, I hope you have some changes of clothes in those bags. First, just real quick before you
Mm-hmm.
go, just tell me what the runes were.
Clarity, you wrote.
There was a rectangle with a crack, a circle within another circle, and a point-up triangle with 3 lines coming down.
Does that?
Yeah, good enough.
Translate?
Okay, but yeah, we're gonna feed you up and ask about our men, but that's probably gonna be a longer conversation. And
Yeah,
you
not a
need to
good- not a
change of
hap-
clothes and you need to change of clothes in the bath before you go anywhere near the tap room. We've set up baths for you.
Okay.
It's a big bathhouse, 2 floors up,
Okay.
and these are big spa tubs. So it's guys in one, girls in another
Mm-hmm.
kind of
Sigwald's
situation.
probably while the Seneschal was telling him all this was like prestidigitizing the dirt off his clothes.
Yeah, and you've got changes of clothes because your trousers are shredded at this point.
of course.
Because teeth.
Teeth.
All of
Oh, the teeth. I just picture
Ow.
the mouth like one of those Langoliers.
Yeah, pretty much. If you've ever
Oh
seen.
God, that thing glommed you? Wow. Jesus.
Sigwald, if you need me to do the mending thing to that later, I can take care of it. Just let's do this all first.
Yeah, I need.
So I would appreciate that.
So, given the time, we will leave you at
The bath.
baths and tune in to us in 2 weeks' time when you guys explain the things and find out what means is not teleportation and gets you that far in
That quick.
24 hours.
I'm actually kind of bummed out we didn't get to find out this week because now I'm going to be wondering about it for the next 2 freaking
Oh,
weeks.
yeah, me
Same.
too.
Evil.
Same.
Happily so. But yeah.
Have a good
You-
2 weeks, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.